But being young and at the time unavailable, because somewhere amongst the crowd, my girlfriend was in the crowd at my graduation from St. Augustine College. So with that strange feeling, I just shrugged it off as nothing and went about my way. As fate and faith would have it, and a series of events I'm characterizing as preparation for one another, our paths would never cross again for another 31 years. You see, it was divine intervention, planting a seed in the facilitator, our beloved and dear friend Brenda, who would say to me, Rick, because she knew I was available and living in D.C., she said, Rick, I have a doctor girlfriend I would like to introduce to you. I said, yeah, okay. Again, shrugged it off, didn't follow through. You see, at that particular time, I had no desire to meet anyone from the DMV, D.C., Maryland, or Virginia. And I had no idea that this friend Brenda was going to introduce me to was from Raleigh. You see, it was my logical thinking that if I was to ever settle into another relationship, it would surely be with a Southern North Carolina girl. I've always believed that and felt that North Carolina produces some of the finest and most intelligent women. If you don't believe me, just take a look at all of the women here today. Every one of you have some connection to North Carolina. Well, a year had gone by. I saw Brenda again at homecoming, and the conversation had come up yet again. However, this time I was unavailable. So again, I shrugged it off as nothing and went about my life. After a series of ugly events, that's enough to make any man want to quit on this thing called love and relationship, I did what any smart man would do. I first examined myself to try to identify my own shortcomings. Because every coin has two sides, and it always takes two to tango. After that, I then went to God our Father. I said, when I was 13, you made me a promise. As I stood there, crying profusely, and being upset at you, God, the world, and everything in it, I remember as I stood there, suddenly I heard your soft, still voice saying, I have you calm in the palm of my hands, in the palm of my hands. After reminding God of his promise, I then began to say, I refuse to believe, God, that you would allow me to go through the rest of my life and not experience true love. I then went on to say, there's a lot of love within me just waiting to be poured into the right one. I then began to expound on my mate because I was being very specific with our God, because our God specializes